I haven't heard the first beep.
We're live. We're ready. Oh, sir.
It says live. Okay. Through the wonders of technology, welcome to the campus of the United States Sports Academy. And this is Sports Talk, a weekly presentation from the United States Sports Academy in which we discuss various issues in the world of sport. Members of the faculty and staff make their contribution as a panel. This morning's panel consists of Dr. Tim Foley, who is the Dean of Student Services, and Dr. Fred Cromartie, who is the Director of Doctoral Studies. And I'm Dr. Arthur Ogden, the Chair of Sports Management. Each week we discuss a variety of topics, and usually on the serious side. We've discussed everything from the events in the World Cup and perhaps some of the problems they had there, to questions of NCAA court cases and questions of amateurism and so forth. We've even discussed violence toward women. But a week from tomorrow night, the NCAA, actually the FBS football season kicks off, and South Carolina and Texas A&M play. Both the AP and USA Today excuse me, come out with their preseason polls. And pretty much the same top 4 teams occupy both of those. And a quick rundown for the top 10 anyway. In the AP and in the USA Today, Florida State is 1, Alabama is 2. In the AP, Oregon is 3, and in USA Today, Oklahoma is 3. In the AP, Oklahoma is 4, and in the USA Today, Oregon is 5. And then there are a couple of switched around, which may switch around again, with 5 and 6. In the AP, Ohio State is 5, and Auburn is 6. But in USA Today, Auburn is 5, and Ohio State is 6. With the loss of Braxton Miller, though, that could very well change the fortunes of Ohio State. And the rest of them go through. We thought today we'd have a little bit of fun with it, as each one of us is going to offer his own particular top 25 preseason polls. As they stand right now, though, I've worked a little matrix that gives you an indication of the relative strengths or the respect that each of the conferences gets in both of the polls. In the AP poll, the SEC has the most with 8, Pac-12 second with 6, Big Ten 4, the Big 12 3, the ACC 3, and independents, namely Notre Dame, 1. The USA Today, the SEC has 7, Pac-12 6, the Big Ten 4, the Big 12 4, the ACC 3, and independent, again, 1. There's a lot that goes into it. And remember that the AP Top 25 preseason and the USA Top 25 were posted before they knew what was going to happen to Braxton Miller. So we'll start right now, and let's just go through your first 10, Fred.
Well, being a prognosticator like all the rest of them at this particular juncture, Nat, we know that this is basically sort of a crapshoot. But the fact of the matter is that nowadays the sport analytics aspect of things come really into play because there's so much more that we look at when we try to develop these top 25, top 10 selections and all this good stuff. Well, I start off, I'm going with the favorite. You got to go with last year's champion. They really didn't lose that much. They're still kind of loaded in that. So I selected Florida State. As one. I still think that Alabama is going to be favored because they've got talent and they've got the coach, Coach Saban. Okay, but my third selection, I'm going with Auburn. I honestly believe that Gus Malzahn, Coach Malzahn, has got some more in terms of some wrinkles that other folks are not ready for just yet. I think he's going to show them this year. Number 4, I like Wisconsin. I honestly believe that Wisconsin's going to show well for the Big Ten. A lot of people are not even thinking about them. I think that they're a sleeper.
Ironically, Wisconsin is 14 in both the AP and the USA.
Exactly. But if you listen to some of the pundits, people are saying, don't go to sleep on them. And I'm saying, don't go to sleep on them. But remember, for those of you out there who are charting all of this and going to throw it back up at the end of the year when we do come out with it, let's look at the history of this. Over, the last 25 years, on occasion, we've come out from number 1 to number 1 at the end of the year, and that's been Florida State. So let's not put too much credence behind it.
Yeah,
but my number 5.
Two things let me add to that, though. First of all, I really like Gary Anderson, the Wisconsin coach.
Yes.
He came from Utah State or Southern Utah, something like that. And I remember watching him coach against Auburn 2 years ago, and he really, really acquitted himself well. The second thing is Brett Bielema did not really leave the cupboard full when he left Wisconsin. And one other thing, if they're 14 down here, Notre Dame, that undefeated year 2 years ago, they started down there number 14. Auburn, 2010, when they won the national championship, started at number 14 as well. So who's your number 5?
Number.
Yeah.
My number 5, I like South Carolina.
South Carolina is 9 in both the AP and the UP.
My number 6 pick, I like LSU.
And they're 13 in both other polls.
My number 7, I'm finally going over to the Pac-12. I like UCLA.
Yeah, they're number
I
7
think Coach Moore is going to do something, and folks are going to be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm coming back for 9, 10, for 8, 9, and 10. I'm going back to the SEC. I'm sorry. I like Georgia as 8. I like Ole Miss as 9. And I honestly think that Coach, I forgot the coach's name, Texas A&M, the head coach.
That's good. I forgot it.
I
drawn the blank. Kevin Sumlin.
Sumlin. I wanted to say Summerlin, but it's Summerlin. I think Texas A&M will do better than a lot of people think. Johnny Money and all that was great and everything like that. But I do think that they still have some talent there. I think that he's a good coach, and he'll be able to get those players to play. So those are my top 10.
Good. Georgia is 12 in both of the other polls. Ole Miss is 19 in the USA Today and 18 in the AP. And Texas A&M is 20 in the USA Today and 21 in the AP. Okay, Tim, your top 10.
Number 1, Alabama. I didn't pick Florida State because I talked to Dr. Cromartie, and the ones who are chosen number 1 don't 99% of the time don't win the championship.
Yeah, but see, the only one that did was Florida State.
Florida State. Okay, could be wrong there. But I think we all want to see Alabama and Oregon because you got a coach who hates the up-tempo and then Alabama who runs the up-tempo. So I picked my number.
No,
it's got to get past the Iron Bowl.
Alabama doesn't run the up-tempo.
Oregon. I didn't get to my number 2. Number 2 is Oregon. With the healthy Marcus Mariota, I think they have a good chance, and that's my dream matchup, Alabama and Oregon in the national championship. My number 3 is Florida State. I have UCLA at number 4, good quarterback, and I agree that Coach Moore has done a great job. I have Auburn number 5. Interestingly, Auburn is playing against 7 ranked opponents.
More than anybody else.
More than anyone else. That's a heck of a schedule.
Yeah, but see, who's Alabama playing at ranked?
Nobody.
Well,
they'll play Auburn.
Well.
And maybe Georgia.
I have 4 of them. Their schedule has 4 ranked opponents. Who? Alabama.
Well.
That's not
okay.
I'll check that
number
again.
6.
Number 6, I have Oklahoma. Could be overrated. Their quarterback, who played very well against Alabama, was actually benched before that. So we'll see there. And then we had the running back situation in the preseason.
He should stick to baseball.
Seven Michigan State. 8. I have 8 at Ohio State. Now, I got a question. They play one ranked team, which is Michigan State. Could they still go undefeated even with the second-string quarterback?
No.
No.
In my estimation, they're going to lose 3 games this year.
Okay.
I think they're going to lose more than 3. I think it comes down to leadership, and I don't think that the young quarterback is going to be able to be the leader that Braxton Miller was. I really don't.
Okay.
Who you have at 9?
9 Baylor, average 52.4 points a game, relatively weak schedule. If Baylor
Relatively is weak.
Yeah. 2, and then South Carolina, number 10.
Logical choices. My top 10 read as follows, and I never think that it's fair that in the following season the national champion is not ranked number 1. So for me, Florida State's number 1. At the same time, Florida State only won it by 13 seconds. I put Auburn at number 2. Auburn has a lot coming back. Auburn's got 8 on the offense, and they have 6 on the defense. And for the first time in his coaching career, Gus Malzahn is going to actually have a quarterback for more than a year and more than just 2 months, which he had last year when Nick Marshall came out.
But he won't have him for the first game.
Oh, yeah, the offseason incident.
He'll play. Number 3, Oregon. I think this is a crucial year for the second-year head coach at Oregon. He has an awful lot to prove. My concern is the defensive secondary, believe it or not. I just didn't see a lot from them last year. They're going to have to be good because the Pac-12 is going to be pass happy. 4 is Alabama. That's just kind of a sympathy thing. You know, everybody's still riding the crest of the wave of St. Nick. But and I think I agree with my 2 bald-headed colleagues here that I have UCLA ranked higher than either of them. I don't. I have UCLA at number 5.
Okay.
I think Coach Moore's done a good job. He's got that excellent quarterback. But they're going to be pushed, from my perspective, by number 6, Michigan State. I think Michigan State is the biggest sleeper. And if I were a betting guy, I would go to Vegas and I would put some money on Michigan State making the Final 4.
But they usually don't
number 7
step up the following year after they've had a great season.
Well,
it's going to be good.
Number 7, South Carolina. I think the old ball coach is going to come through. Number 8, and this is kind of a gift because I am so sick of Oklahoma and crybaby Bob. So Oklahoma's number 8. Stanford, I think Stanford's a sleeper. I've got them at 9, but perhaps they should be a little bit higher. Their coach is just a class act, and he's smart, and he gets the smart kids out there, and he gets the most out of them. And my number 10 is Baylor. Baylor can go either way as far as I'm concerned because they're scheduled. They could have some good stuff. They could have some bad stuff. But that's how I see my top 10. And unfortunately, we're just about out of time.
Let's go. Let's take a look 1 second. Let's see who's everybody across the board's 25. I picked Washington. You're last.
North Carolina.
Texas.
Okay.
I have Washington at 24. But here's another one that'll probably shock you. I've got Florida at 23.
They got a lot of votes.
I think Florida might do something. I really, really do. And
I have no confidence in Coach Muschamp. No confidence.
Well,
Tebow coming back.
Will is a good guy. I mean,
good guy, but
he's a hard worker. And look what he did at Texas. You know, and he had a good cast around him. I've seen what he can do. His biggest problem, from my perspective, is he's not been able to put together a really effective staff. He got Charlie Weiss, who, you know, he's like 4 accents. His butt is like 4 accents of his wife, but he just, you know,
he struggled.
Oh,
he should have stayed with the Patriots.
He should have stayed. He should have stayed playing baseball.
I think it's depth for them. I just don't see the depth.
He
got injured last year. But the thing of it is, I know Will. I've known Will for how many years? He was one of our GAs at Auburn. Hard-working guy, and I just think if he gets that staff put together, he'll do fine.
I got one question for both of you. How is Notre Dame going to fare with the quarterback coming back who was out a year?
I think they're going to do fine. The biggest problem is going to be Notre Dame secondary.
Yeah,
Notre Dame secondary is depleted, and and people are going to go, "Oh, yeah, they're being investigated." Well, let's get one thing clear, folks. Notre Dame is investigating itself. You think Alabama would investigate itself if the same situations occurred? I doubt it. It's just different. They investigate themselves just like West Point or Annapolis or Stanford or Vanderbilt for that matter. But Notre Dame, it's completely out of the athletics department's hands. It is in the hands of the administration. And believe me, being a product of a Catholic university myself, the priests, Christian brothers, and everybody else, they come down hard on themselves. It's going to be tough.
I think the players will support the quarterback. I think the other weakness that they have is not only in the secondary, linebacking core.
That's true.
Their linebackers are not. I mean, they traditionally have a strong linebacking core. They just don't have it this year.
Right. I don't think they have it this year either. But the kids they've got some young kids.
Yeah.
Now they've got some good competition at quarterback. Golson does a good job, but his backup is in Thane and Thayer. He does an outstanding job as well. But we're going to look for a tremendous season this year. We've got a whole new vista of opportunities for the autonomy of the top 5-tier conferences. And I think it's going to mean a great deal to the advancement of college football and the advancement of college athletics in general. So don't forget, a week from tomorrow night, tune in. It's going to be on the SEC Network. So if you haven't gotten the SEC Network yet, maybe you ought to get it. And it's going to be a good long holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend for football. Football is back, and we wish you all the best. Doctors, anything you'd like to add?
Get your fantasy team ready.
You don't have fantasy teams in college football, you could.
We're ready.
Anyway,
we're ready.
Thank you so much for joining in, and we will see you next week at this time.